What's up, compadres? It's Jack from Cultaholic.com, and it's my favourite time of the week. It's Friday. Got to get down on Friday and decide who my wrestler of the week is. It's going to kick off. It's going to get intense. Let's look at some honourable mentions straight away. No messing. The first honourable mention comes via email. I was emailed by a lad named Adam who recommended Lewis Gervin and Aspen Faith for the honourable mentions because they became the new ICW Tag Team Champions over the past weekend. And then I replied to the email, assuming that he'd gone to the show, but he might not have. He didn't really mention that. He might have just watched it on demand. But I replied to the email saying, "Cheers, Adam, mate. Hope you had a good night." What a creep. He could be reading that now and being like, "Hope you had a good night." What weirdo. I've really messed it up. Other people to mention, there were also some new tag team champions over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Guerrilla Tactics. It's time for warfare. Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, personal friends of mine now. Well, Tama Tonga certainly. Didn't really talk to Tangaloa that much, but they're both equal champions, so does it really matter? No, it does not. Also want to give a shout out to Roman Reigns, of course. More of an honourable mention because he didn't actually have a match, but it's amazing to see him back in the wrestling ring doing what he does best. I can't wait to see what's in store for Roman. It was just a really feel-good moment to open this week's Raw, so yes, definitely deserves an honourable mention. And one final one as well, Shota Umino, a young lion over in New Japan who had a match against Zack Sabre Jr. at the recent Honor Rising event, and everyone thought, wow, Zack Sabre Jr. is really going to tear this rookie apart, you know, he's going to stretch him, and he did to an extent, but Umino put in a really good performance and has sort of solidified himself as one of the leading members of this crop of young lions talent, so one for the future. Definitely. Now on to my number 10, and whoa, it's a Wrestlers of the Week debut, not just for 2019, but for the whole series, and I'm delighted to announce that 1 point goes to bloody R-Truth. Yes, it's finally happened. R-Truth is, of course, the current US champion, and honestly, the fact that he's been able to sneak onto this list while just basically talking about John Cena and doing a couple of his spots really speaks volumes about the quality of his comedic work. No, apart from that, I feel like he wrestled really well this week on SmackDown as well, defending his title in a triple threat against both Rey Mysterio and Andrade. CN Andrade. You know, Rey and Andrade have really good chemistry, and it's always great to see them have a singles match against each other, but at the same time, I don't feel like R-Truth took away from this match at all. In fact, he sort of added to it with his comedy, with his explosiveness as well. He still moves incredibly well for a man of his age. Didn't take away anything from the match, successfully retained his title with a roll-up on Rey Mysterio. Let's not disrespect former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ron the Truth Killings. I think he fully deserves his 1 point, and welcome to the club, welcome to the league table, Ron. You're on Wrestlers of the Week, you've done it, come on! He doesn't care. He obviously doesn't care. Number 9, let's go to NXT now, where we award 2 points to Mia Yim. Mia Yim had a really good title match in the main event of NXT this week against Shayna Baszler. She came up short, she was unsuccessful. I don't think anyone really expected her to beat Shayna for the belt, certainly on just like a regular episode of NXT, but at the same time, it was a good performance from Mia Yim, demonstrating her babyface fire, her tactical ability as well, working Shayna's hand once she'd like hit the mat and injured herself. I thought that was a really cool little storyline to implement into the match as well. Yeah, Mia Yim is really impressive, but obviously she's a little bit further down on the pecking order right now in the NXT women's division, certainly below the likes of Kairi Sane, Bianca Belair and Io Shirai, but I think she could be one for the next wave of talent, I suppose. She could really lead the next charge on the Women's Championship. Hard to say, really. Hard to say how well she's going to do, but she certainly has all the ability to do well. She's, of course, a former Impact Knockouts champion. She's got experience as well, but can she become NXT Women's Champion in the next year or so? It's a tough call. I genuinely don't know, but if she keeps building on performances like this, I certainly don't see why not. Really good stuff. Yeah, hard hitting, felt raw, felt real at certain points as well. Certainly more real than the things on Raw, because that's more sports entertainment-y, whereas NXT is more wrestling. Oh, it's been a long week, I'm quite tired. Next up, the woman who defeated her and retained the NXT Women's Championship. Picking up 3 pointeroos, it's Shayna Baszler. Or, as Mia Yim called her in the build-up to this match, and it's not on, Sharon Corbin. Yeah, Mia Yim called her Sharon Corbin in the build-up to this match, so honestly, I was kind of rooting for Baszler. You can't be doing that. It's harsh on Shane. Harsh on Corbin as well. They don't even look similar. Corbin's got no hair now. I found it below the belt. No, it was funny, I suppose it was funny. But Shayna Baszler did pick up the victory. I thought it was a more vulnerable performance than we're used to seeing from Shayna, but then I thought about it a bit more because she was selling the hand and stuff. She accidentally hit the canvas, and then Mia Yim was working on the hand throughout the match. But I thought back to matches against the likes of Kairi Sane and Ember Moon, where Shayna has often demonstrated really good selling ability, and I thought, you know what? Even though she is presented as this dominant and skilled and dangerous and brutal champion, in a Lesnar way, when the time is right, she's not above selling something to the nth degree. She can really convince you that she's hurt, and that is an invaluable skill to have as a pro wrestler, especially when you're in a leading position in a division such as the NXT Women's Division. So fair play to Shayna. She continues to develop at a rapid rate despite her relative lack of experience, and I'm just properly impressed by her. Wonder what will happen if she gets onto the main roster anytime soon, especially if Ronda Rousey stays with WWE, defying those rumours that say she's going to leave after WrestleMania 35. Should be quite intriguing. Number 7, don't hate me, it's all okay, just calm down. Please don't hurt me in the streets. It's Will Ospreay. Now before you say, no, Will Ospreay is just going to win again and stuff, he's not even in the top 5. He's really quite down there, picking up points at a fairly consistent rate, but certainly not week on week, as he often did last year. So just simmer a little bit. Why is Ospreay on the list this week? Well, he was the most consistent performer at the recent run of Honor Rising shows over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. There was like a back-to-back event. There were 2 days. It was a double shot, as they say in the business. On night 1, he successfully defended the Never Openweight Championship against Dalton Castle, who I also love. He was great. He should get an honourable mention, really, just for being fabulous. Ospreay successfully defended the title against Dalton, and then on day 2, he teamed with Goto to win an entertaining tag match as well. A match which the general consensus online seemed to imply was probably the most entertaining match of the 2 Honor Rising shows. Either that or Zack Sabre Jr. versus Amino. But for a good performance on both night 1 and night 2, Will Ospreay gets on the list, man. What do you want me to do? He's just good at wrestling. He's gonna get points. Another key development in Ospreay's game is the fact that he's a strong boy now. He's not just a flippy boy, he's also strong, as demonstrated when he lifted up Jeff Cobb, one of his opponents in that tag team match, for the Stormbreaker. If you haven't seen the Stormbreaker move, this is what happens. But pretend I'm doing it on a wrestler. Careful. Picks them up onto his shoulders, flips them off and lands on his back, and they land and they crash down, and it's a big impactful spinny power move. It's a power move, really representing his transition from the junior division into the heavyweight division. I can see him doing that on various opponents. I never thought I'd see him do it on Jeff Cobb, who is basically a fridge with eyes. That's pretty impressive from Will, to be fair. Give him that, at least. Number 6, Keithley, the man of the hour, the king of the ring, intelligence and power. He's gonna beat you and take your food, and then he's gonna eat the food and get stronger. That's right, because he's Keithley. That's right, don't hold this rap against me. No. I'm just going to use my notes for this one because I wrote it in a sort of semi-conscious state. We were listening to music, it was all kicking off. It was Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison, Pachiti put it on. I basically wrote it in a sort of daze, so I look back at my notes after I'd written it, and this is what I said for Keith Lee. Number 6, Keith Lee. When I look at Keith Lee, I see future WWE champion. I do, that's true. He just has it all. The look, the size, the ability, and most importantly of all, the charisma. This is the wrestling business, kid. Show some charisma. He is so charismatic, it's stupid. If I could walk into a room like Keith Lee does, that would make my day. Match on NXT that had the potential to be brilliant was ended by a double countout, leaving us wanting more. Now, that was a match against Dominic Djokovic, what do you want to call him? The announcers don't know either, but against Big Dom, and it was a great match. It was basically a big, hard-hitting brawl, but at the same time, it was paced very slowly, deliberately so, and they'd counter each other's moves. Or at one point, Keith Lee landed on his feet out of a monkey flip and just walked off and went, what? I'm Keith Lee, bitch. It was awesome. He didn't actually say, I'm Keith Lee, bitch. I'm getting really excited about Keith Lee. The match was deliberately ended early by double countout so that it left us wanting more, and I can't wait to see it. Give them a spot on an NXT takeover because they will absolutely tear it up. And I do mean it when I say that I look at Keith Lee and think future WWE champion. He does actually have it all, and he always puts on tremendous matches. He's so good. He's so good. So number 5, his opponent, Dominic Djokovic. That guy. Djokovic is, well, I feel as though WWE have stumbled upon a new sort of booking template here. Quite a fun one, quite an intriguing one, quite a cheeky one too. What they've basically done is they've taken 2 wrestlers who had a 5-star match in PWG not that long ago and gone, let's do that again. let's just stick them in the same ring again and tell them to do what they did last time. The match was obviously cut short to keep us excited for the future and stuff, but it was ingenious in its simplicity. Djokovic is a beast. He's so tall but can do such outrageous things. He's obviously strong, but he also did an Asai moonsault to the outside, like a springboard thing, and it was really good as well. And Keithley caught him as well, did a great job. They're both really good. I think they both have really bright futures. I think Keithley is more charismatic, and that gives him a bit of an edge, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Djokovic go really, really far too. He's so WWE superstar. He's what they look for. Also, I think they need to carry this booking idea forwards into the future. So they've gone PWG, Keithley, Dominic, Djokovic. Let's book that again. Look for them to sign Christopher Daniels from AEW and stick him in a triple threat with Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. I'm just saying. That got 5 stars. So why wouldn't it do so again? That's all I'm saying. Number 4, admittedly, a man I don't know much about, but a man I've done my research on and watched some matches of. So just prepare yourselves for a crash course in All Japan Pro Wrestling classic knowledge. Don't worry about that. Number 4 is Tsuyama. Now, Tsuyama is the outgoing ace of All Japan. He's kind of comparable to Tanahashi in a way. He's a bit older. I think he's 42 years old. He's won the Triple Crown Championship 6 times, which I think is the most out of anyone, even more times than Misawa did. Basically, his best days are behind him. He's been a boss in the past, but he's still capable, as this week proved, of putting on excellent matches. This week's was a title match against the current champion and the new ace and kind of the Okada of the situation, Kento Miyahara. So this match in a way felt a little bit like a bootleg Okada versus Tanahashi situation, but not quite on the same level. I'll explain why. I found the match a little bit predictable, just given the history of the two. Tsuyama has already beaten Miyahara for this championship in the past, and then I think he got injured and had to vacate the title or something, and then the title found its way back to Miyahara, but I couldn't see him beating him for it again. This is an older, more experienced, more dominant Miyahara in 2019, and I just think it would have been a massive misstep if they put the belt back on the older guy. Whereas in the case of Tanahashi, it was a really emotional and wonderful moment. In the case of Tsuyama, I think it was the right decision to have him lose, and I think that everyone kind of felt that going into it, and that's why he doesn't really get too much higher on Wrestlers of the Week. But still a really good performance, especially for an older fella. He could absolutely eat me alive, couldn't he? Look at him. Bloody hell. Number 3, it's my old mate. I've never met him. Barbaro Cavernario from CMLL. The reason I say old mate is because he was on this list a couple of times last year. Didn't really know much about him then. I've watched quite a few matches of his now, and he doesn't care about his own safety, really. It's quite scary. Cavernario essentially is a daredevil, and he's a barbarian caveman. Barbaro Cavernario, he's a caveman. Look at him. He's a wild man. He's out of control. But he's not. He wrestles in kind of a controlled frenzy sort of style, if that doesn't sound too Michael Cole. Where he's a heel, and he's a really good heel, good at getting heat from the crowd, sympathy for his opponent, that sort of thing. But at the same time, is also very, very good at having a sort of exciting, high-paced offense. It's good that he still gets booed despite being really flashy and exciting to watch in the ring. He does some stupid stuff now and again, I will admit. There was a spot in this match I watched of his this week against Titan where he got on the top rope and splashed his opponent from the top rope to the floor. His knees must just be non-existent, and if he wants to do it, it's his prerogative, but I wouldn't do that for quite a few pounds, quite a lot of money. The other exciting thing about Barbaro Cavernario is that he does have the potential to be more of a breakout star. He's always one of the ones that catches the eye and gets the loudest reactions whenever CMLL go over to New Japan and do like Fantastica Mania or something like that. I do wonder whether he's just going to float in the same sort of position in CMLL for quite a while, because surely he's one of the leading stars of the future. And I know he's not that young, but at the same time, if you look at who CMLL tend to book, there's a huge roster with various older guys in the mix as well. So I don't see why he couldn't be a leading light of the future, apart from the fact maybe that he's not a traditional luchador, he doesn't have the mask on. I don't really know. I feel as though he needs to be given more. That's what I'm saying. But in this instance, he was used to put someone else over, and it went really, really well. Number 2, and still the Triple Crown champion of All Japan Pro Wrestling, Kento Miyahara, the undisputed ace, the Okada of All Japan. He's even starting to look like him a little bit. Is it just me who sees that? I think he does. Miyahara, as I said, is the undisputed ace now of All Japan Pro Wrestling, and this reign looks like it could be his signature long reign with the title. He's won the belt 4 times so far, but often loses it and then wins it back and stuff like that. But now, this could be his big moment. You kind of get that feeling that 2019 could be Miyahara's year. He's had some great matches. He got on the list in the past last year. with matches against the likes of, there was a really good one against Marufuji, there was a good match against Tsuyama, as I've already mentioned, he's had some clashes with him in the past, and Zeus as well, who I can only assume is the Zeus from ancient Greek mythology, the king of the gods of Mount Olympus. So yes, he's not infallible, he's lost the title a few times, sometimes to Tsuyama, sometimes to Zeus, but at the same time, he always manages to win it back, and always manages to put on one hell of a performance as well. He's really exciting to watch. I'd highly recommend checking him out on All Japan's on-demand service if you haven't seen him already, because he is the leading light of that promotion right now. Leading the resistance against New Japan. Come on, mate. I don't understand the interpromotional rivalry between the talking out of my arse. And number one, it's one of those weeks where number one is someone that I previously didn't know much about, and I've had to do some research, and I'm a fan. I'm already a fan of his now. Number one is the luchador from CMLL, Titan. Now, Titan, to look out there, just looks like generic luchador number 3 or whatever, but he is dynamite in the ring. His match this week against Barbaro Cavernario is on YouTube. Check it out immediately if you haven't already, because it's so good. 2 out of 3 falls, structured wonderfully, and some of the stuff this guy can do is absolutely absurd. Not just flips, he can do all of the flips, but like strikes, jumping, kicks, that sort of thing. He's one of those wrestlers that is so good to watch, just as like a junk food sort of wrestler. Like, he does exciting stuff at such a rate, it's really exciting. That's a bit of a disservice though to Titan, because he can sell, he can get sympathy from the crowd, as demonstrated in this match, and he can execute really well in everything that he does pretty much. He's only 28, I did my research, which means that he is experienced, but has yet to really realise his potential in his career, I feel. From what I can gather, he's been bouncing around the mid-card in CMLL for quite some time now, but this year could be the year that he gets pushed. He looks to be on the end of a bit of a push. He won the King of the Air match earlier this year, which was like a big elimination match featuring like 10 or so guys, and he was the one who they earmarked to win that match. Also, as well, he won this match against Barbaro Cavernario, which is someone lower on the card, knocking off a more established star. And the way he did it as well, he showed great technical aptitude, great high-flying ability, great bravery as well in the face of a heel who's trying to, dominate him and pick up the victory that he expects. It was just really good. Told a great story, and even if you know nothing about either wrestler, it's one of those matches where you can watch it and just understand what's going on, because they tell the story so well, even without English commentary. It was all in Spanish, and I still understood pretty much what was going on. Well done, Titan. Great week for you. 10 points, fully deserved, and you are my wrestler of the week. So now it's time to take a look at the league table, but it's a bit of a strange one. There's minimal changes. You can see Titan and Kento Miyahara popping up later on because they got 10 and 9 points, but everyone else pretty much remains in the same place. Ospreay jumps up a few spots as well, but this week wasn't the most seismic for the league table. But things could all change with Fastlane on the horizon, a very well-received Progress show yet to go up on demand, but it should be going up soon, and of course WrestleMania weekend, where 20 places and 20 points will be up for grabs. So that's it for this week's Wrestlers of the Week. Congratulations to Titan, and congratulations to you for watching it. Thanks very much, mate. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to, at Jack the Jobber. You can follow all of us at Cultaholic, and check out our Patreon as well, patreon.com/Cultaholic. And never forget, of course, if you haven't done so already, to hit subscribe and to join us.